There's only a handful of games I can point to and say, yeah, this probably improved my life a bit, maybe even a lot. Valhalla is one of them. One day I was just browsing the eShop and I saw this weird visual novel thing. I decided, well, might as well check it out, and to this day, it's arguably one of the best games I've ever played. There's not that much in terms of gameplay, it's basically a bartender simulator. You mix drinks and you talk to people, and that's pretty much it. And that's also what I like about it. It's a lot laid back and chill. You can take all the time you need to make the drinks. You can reset as many times as you want in case you fuck up. And same with the text. It's not auto-scrolling, you can just read it at your own pace. Not every single goddamn character in this game is masterfully written or anything. Heck, on replays there's a lot of dialogue I just skim through at best. But the characters that work are really good. And they have very fun interactions with each other. They nail the friendly banter in this game. It might sound odd, but I also really like that in games like these you usually have a main character, so the player can imagine themselves onto it. But this has a very distinguished protagonist, with their own history, interest, etc. But what's really interesting is that it happens kind of gradually. Yeah, she'll always be the one talking with the customers when she's usually not having that much of an active part of it. But we gradually learn about her more throughout the game. Which makes sense, because she's talking to customers and they ask things like, so what's your name? What are your interests, etc. Trying to get to know each other. And I wouldn't dare spoil it for anyone who hasn't played the game. But let's just say that eventually she becomes the main focus in such a good way. But it happens so gradual and so natural. Not to mention that the side characters are pretty interesting, the ones that works, I mean. Yeah, they're a bit goofy and quirky, a bit out there sometimes. But what really saves it is the dialogue, because they have very naturalistic and fun interaction with each other. Like Alma, who is also called the Big Titty Hacker, who you can tell has known Jill, which is the main character, for quite a while. They have friendly banter left and right, and as I said, they really feel like old friends. Your tits alone would fill my entire bathroom. Another highlight is, can I even say this on YouTube? Robot that has a particular line of work and is so fucking gleeful about it. Like, she takes real pride in what she does. She is pretty damn goofy too. Almost every time she enters the bar she tries to have a sitcom-esque entrance. As I said though, not every character works. But even then, there's usually something about them that makes me laugh. We have a few good lines here and there. A decent example would be Streaming-chan, who is a character that literally live streams every second of her life. She is supposed to be pretty annoying, but they made her a little too funny and goofy for me to truly hate her or anything. Also, please consider supporting me on Patreon or through YouTube membership. My dream is to be a full-time YouTuber one day, and your support means so much to me. I replay this about once a year or so, and it's a delight every time. Now, I will admit some of the dialogue sounds good when you're reading it, but doesn't sound quite as natural when you're reading it out loud. I was streaming it a while ago and I discovered that the dialogue can be a bit repetitive sometimes. Say. Yes. Say. Yes. Say. But those things are relatively short, and it doesn't really hold back the game overall. Another thing that I think is kind of cool that I don't see too often is that sometimes while you're talking to the customers, small scenes will happen around in the bar. Like if you're chatting with someone and all of a sudden your boss will go, hey, I'm just gonna go up to the roof and check on the antenna. Yeah, it seems kind of pointless to put that there, but it's kind of natural in a sense. Like that kind of would happen. Like randomly someone will say, hey, I'm just gonna do this. Or something will happen in the background, etc. Makes the whole world and the dialogue kind of come to life. Speaking of the world, the thing I really appreciate is the world building actually. The entire game is almost entirely confined to this one bar and this one screen. And yet they managed to really set up what the world outside of it is like. For example, there's a character called Say, and the first time you encounter her, Jill will naturally ask her about her profession, because she's not entirely sure what it is, which then segues to how the police force work in that universe. And other times there's no need for the character to explain something to each other, they know what they're talking about. it comes across as very naturalistic. Sometimes they need to explain things and they do it in a organic and natural way. Sometimes, oh, did you hear what happened yesterday? Sometimes when you're talking to your friends, you might know what they're talking about, and other times you don't, you need to ask about it. That's exactly what happens in this game, but it's done so well that it never really comes across as exposition. And it's just so interesting to learn about the world that they live in, and it easily leaves me wanting for more. But of course, the real highlight is the music. Some of the finest I have ever heard. I have to actively tell myself not to use the OST for this game in my videos too often, because it's the perfect background music for me, because it doesn't really take over, because it's not high energy, it's relatively chill. But they have really nice melodies and it's always a delight to hear them. Whenever I hear a streamer similar use the music for this game in the background, I always perk up. I really hope I never get sick of this game's soundtrack, because it is quite a joy. This game just came at the right time for me. I just needed to read a really good story with fun and memorable characters. It's like after this was done, I was like, I really needed this at this moment in time. And it doesn't quite get better every time I replay it. Some of the cracks do show, like this weird shoot 'em up minigame I can't master. But overall, doesn't really detract from it. It is quite a fun experience. And it's a friendly reminder to me that sometimes all you need is just good dialogue.